Hey, 5.5 rated player and PPR certified coach Austin here, and today I'm going to be breaking down the 5 specific rules that you need to follow in order to win 90% of matches in pickleball. Let's open the playbook. The last rule is by far the most impactful, so make sure that you stick around. Number 1, if you don't mess up, your opponent inevitably will. A lot of people hear this and they think to themselves, oh, so I just have to dink every ball, reset every ball, drop every ball, and just not miss. But that's actually very counterproductive to what I'm specifically talking about. Instead, the way that I want you to see this is you never miss an opportunity to attack the ball when it's high, and you never miss an opportunity to reset the ball when it's low. In other words, you're always making the best decision dependent on the situation that you're in. So it doesn't mean that you're going to push the ball and try to stay in the point as much as possible. Instead, it means that you're making the most high percentage shots in every single opportunity that you have. And so we're going to be breaking down specifically what that means at the baseline, at midcourt, and up on the kitchen line so that you never make the wrong decision again. Now, obviously, that's not possible. We're all going to make wrong decisions, but at least you'll have the exact tools and the playbook to use the next time that you're out onto the court. We're going to start by talking about the baseline. If you don't mess up, your opponents inevitably will. So what does that mean when we're on the baseline? Something that I want you to remember is that offense is the best defense. So a lot of the time we receive a return from our opponents and we choose to drop the ball because we feel pressure, when instead we should choose to drive the ball. And the reason that we want to drive the ball when we feel pressure, when the return comes in deep, when it comes in hard and it's difficult, we should drive because it's going to give us the best opportunity to get an easier next shot. The drive is a set up shot. It sets us up to hit a drop. Whenever we're hitting a drop out on the pickleball court, it should only be because we are on offense or we are comfortable. That's when we hit drops. If instead we feel a ton of pressure and we're backing up to hit the third shot of the rally and our opponents have pulled us off the court and we hit a drop, the chances of us consistently hitting that drop in aren't very high. Whereas if we're backing up and we're scrambling and we hit a drive, we can get that ball on our opponents extremely fast. And with that, they're gonna set us up almost every single time with an easier next shot. So this is exactly what I mean by offense is the best defense. When we're on defense mode, when we're backing up, when we're scrambling to stay in the point, drive that initial shot to set yourself up for a drop. This is the absolute best thing that you can do to cause an error from your opponents or set yourself up for an easier shot. Now let's move to mid-court. When we're in this specific position, we have 2 different decisions to make. We can either reset the ball and play as the passive player, which is sometimes the correct decision and the high percentage decision, or we can hit a swinging volley and attack our opponents. And what that comes down to is 2 specific things. The first is the height of the ball, and the second is how much time we have. Height and time. First of all, the height of the ball. It's dependent on your specific level and your specific skill set. What I would suggest is anybody below the 4.0 level, you should not be speeding up balls unless they are above waist level. So if they're above waist level, you're speeding up those balls if you're below the 4.0 level. So that's the height aspect. If you're above that 4.0 level, I suggest that you speed up balls anything that is above knee level. You're going to be able to get away with speeding up those balls, especially as you get out and actually practice hitting these balls. Now it comes down to time. How much time do you have to react? Because a ball can be high in this position, maybe above knee level, still be going in, but it's so fast that I don't have time to react. So what I like to do is picture that there is a bubble around me and it comes out a foot from my chest. If the ball enters that bubble, no matter the height, whether it's low, below the knees, or above the knees, I'm gonna reset that ball. Just simply because I don't have that time. So it's height and time. Now, if it is below the knees or below the waist, I'm going to be resetting that ball the vast majority of the time, regardless of how much time that I have to react to that next ball. If I can reset this ball from this low position, that's going to be the most high percentage shot and cause my opponents to make the most possible errors. Remember, if you don't mess up, your opponents inevitably will. That doesn't mean that we're always resetting every single shot. Instead, we're attacking the high ones, we're resetting the low ones. And when we have time, sometimes we're even attacking the low ones. But what it comes down to is making the most high percentage decision in each position. Specifically, what we have to look at on the court from that mid-court position is the height of the net. If I am hitting from a low position, meaning it's below the net, I always have to hit up, always, to get it over the net. And so since I have to hit up, that typically goes to my opponent's strike zone. So that's why I suggest above knees for players that are above 4-0 and above stomach or waist area for players that are below that 4-0 level, so that you can at least hit parallel with the net, draw a straight line to your opponents. And with your forward momentum, hitting a swinging volley from this position as you're moving forward is going to add pace because you're moving forward into the court. Plus, your opponents are already up here on the net, so they don't have a ton of time to react. So we're putting it on them really fast. With that, you're going to get pop-up after pop-up and mistake after mistake, which goes to the saying, if you don't mess up, your opponents inevitably will. So make the most high percentage decisions based off of the height of the ball and the time that you have to react, and you're going to do so good in the mid-court. One more thing about the mid-court is that if you have a perfect reset or a perfect swinging volley out of the air, you don't need a perfect drop and you don't need a perfect drive either. You're going to be able to consistently make it up to the net every single time if you have a perfect reset and a perfect swinging volley, which nobody does, but the more that you get out and train them, the better they will become. If you want hundreds of different drills to help practice every single shot in pickleball, you can go to pickleballdrailsapp.com and get started absolutely free. Now let's talk about how this applies at the kitchen. When we're looking at the kitchen, we have 22 feet to hit to when we dink the ball cross court from corner to corner. When I dink straight up the line, I have 14 feet to hit to. 14, 22. Which is going to be the best decision for me to hit the vast majority of my dinks? Obviously cross court, because I have way more distance to hit to. It not only gives me more time to react and more time to maybe pull into the middle and hover over in order to attack, but it also gives me more space to hit to. And with that, my consistency is going to increase. So what I recommend starting out doing, no matter what level you're at, if you struggle at the net and you keep popping up your dinks, I want you to dedicate an entire day that you go out and play to hitting every single dink cross court, regardless of the situation. What you're gonna find is you're gonna cause your opponents to make so many mistakes from this happening. Now, what I'm not saying is you hit a dink cross court, they pop it up, and then you're like, oh, with this pop up, I'm gonna dink it cross court again. I'm not saying to miss opportunities to attack. That's not smart pickleball. That's not setting yourself up for success. That's actually messing up. You're the one that messed up in that situation, even if you're still in the point, because you should be putting that ball away. But what I am saying is anytime that the ball comes low and you're dinking, hit all of them cross court for that entire day that you play, whether that's a 2-hour session or it's a 5-hour session, depending on if you're retired or something like that, right? I want you to just hit every single dink cross court, and with that, what you're gonna find is you win so many points just simply because you've eliminated that low percentage shot down the line. Now, when you get into your next matches and subsequent weeks, obviously hitting down the line has its time and place, and it's the most high percentage shot, or it's the best shot to hit, dependent on where your opponents are. If you pull them off the court and they're both stuck in the middle and then you go down the line, that's gonna make a lot of sense. And it has its time and place, but I just want you guys to see how you can win literally by just hitting the ball cross court. The reason I know this is because I did this a couple of years ago, right when I was first starting, and it made a huge impact on my overall consistency and my winning ability. So when we're up on the kitchen line, we're looking for opportunities to attack. And the way that we're gonna do that is by recovering and hovering after every single dink that we hit. So if I hit my dink cross court, I'm going to follow the ball, always following the ball. If you follow the ball, you'll always be in the right position. After following the ball, I am going to hug up on the kitchen line and hover over, applying pressure on my opponents. Now, if I pop the ball up, this is where it changes. Instead of me hugging the kitchen line, I'm still gonna follow the ball from this position. I dink, but I'm going to back up on a diagonal here. Towards the middle still, I'm following the ball, but I'm giving myself more time. Comes back down to time. Whenever I go to the midcourt, I need more time to react because I popped up the ball. but I'm still following it. This allows me to cover their speed up here down the middle, and if they choose to dink the ball back out wide, since it's a dink, I have time to come and recover this ball. So I want you guys to think dinking cross court, that's the high percentage shot, but we're doing that to set ourselves up for a pop-up. So every single time that we do it and we can keep it low, we're recovering and hovering over the kitchen. If you can recover and hover when you're up on the kitchen line, you're gonna have great success in making your opponents make the mistake rather than you. I've been using Victory insoles for the past 6 months, and even if they weren't sponsoring this video, the fact that they've made such an impact on my game, I would be telling you about them anyway. If your feet or ankles hurt after long days out on the court, this has been my solution and it'll be your solution too. I remember a specific tournament that I played in where my partner and I were in the semifinals and I was so done. And that was because my feet were absolutely aching, my legs were done. Since switching to Victory, my feet and ankles don't get fatigued at all. The best way to think about them that I've come up with is it's like a personal masseuse is massaging your feet throughout the day. They will be an absolute game changer for you. So anyways, I asked Victory for a discount for my followers, and they're giving anyone who scans this QR code with their camera or clicks the top link in the description of this video, 20% off their insoles. So if you've been looking for insoles, just give them a try. You have nothing to lose, and I promise that you'll absolutely love them. Thank you so much, Victory, for giving my followers a discount and for sponsoring this video. Number 2, use all your weapons. So what I mean by this is a lot of players will neglect a specific weapon just simply because maybe they're not as comfortable with it or they didn't know that they were supposed to use it in that situation. So a really good example I can give you is something that happened recently to me. A couple weeks back, I was playing with a few friends of mine, and one of them, while we were up on the kitchen in a dink rally, missed an opportunity to attack. So the opponents popped up the ball, they're hovering over the kitchen line, and instead of attacking the ball, they actually backed up, let it bounce, and then they dinked it again. Now this is a big mistake because it automatically takes a winner out of the equation. Like, we could have just won the point, could have instantly been over. If not instantly over, they would have popped up the ball and then we would have finished it, so long as we didn't make a simple mistake. But we had every opportunity to win this specific point, and instead he backed up, let the ball bounce, and then he dinked it. And this wasn't because he was consciously being like, oh, I don't think that's an opportunity to attack. It's just because he hadn't had enough opportunities to see that that's an opportunity to attack. So the more opportunities that you can give yourself by playing in more rec matches, by drilling more, by putting yourself in tournaments so that you're feeling pressure, the more opportunities you give yourself, the easier it's going to be for you to see what you should be doing. So he wasn't using the specific weapon that he had of speeding up that ball with a swinging volley, a topspin flick, and putting the ball away. Instead, he was backing up and hitting his old reliable dink, just simply because he didn't see what was happening. Now, I know I've struggled with this in the past too, where I missed opportunities to attack. I didn't know if I should speed up the ball, or if I should reset the ball, or if I should dink the ball. I didn't know exactly what to do with this specific ball. All that you have to do is pay attention to this one sentence. If the ball is above net tape, attack. If the ball is below the net tape, dink or reset. That's literally all that it comes down to, the height of the ball. So if you find that you're not sure whether to take a ball out of the air, or maybe you don't even recognize, but your partner was like, bro, why didn't you put that ball away? All that it's coming down to is if it's above the net tape, you should be attacking that ball. Now, you're not going to be able to attack balls right away that are right above the net tape. Again, you're going to have to get out and get reps in hitting that. That's what I preach. The more reps that you can get in, the better a player you're going to be. And specifically, getting in reps with structure, making sure that you have the correct strategy going in as you're getting your reps in. There's something called cooperative drills and something else called competitive drills. An example of a cooperative drill would be where me and my partner are just simply hitting volleys back and forth. There's no competition, we're not keeping score, we're not trying to get to a certain amount. We're just cooperating with each other, trying to find a good feel for the ball, getting our reps in. A competitive drill, on the other hand, is where we would be trying to actually beat each other and we'd be playing to 11. Both of these types of drills are 100% necessary in order to see real improvement in your game. The cooperative drills are going to give you the reps, and the competitive drills are going to give you the reps under pressure. That way, when you get into a match and you see that the ball is slightly high, you're going to be attacking that ball 9 times out of 10, not missing that opportunity to utilize that weapon. Now, we as pickleball players have many weapons in our arsenal. But some of them just aren't refined, they aren't sharp enough. We gotta take them back to the toolkit, grind them down. The best way to do that is gonna be to get out and drill with a drilling partner, a wall, or a ball machine. And again, that's a huge reason why I created the Pickleball Drills app. It has helped me to better refine all of my weapons so that I never miss those opportunities to attack, and I always make the correct decision on if I should reset or dink the ball. Now I say always, obviously I'm gonna be making bad decisions here and there, but the more that I drill, the better decisions I make and the easier it becomes. Number 3, when you're comfortable, push forward. When you're uncomfortable, push back. A lot of people will get stuck in one of these two positions, where they'll make it up to the kitchen and then they get stuck there. We never want to be stuck in this position. If we're uncomfortable, if we feel like our opponents are going to speed up the ball, or maybe we pop up the ball, we want to always take a big step back and split step. Specifically doing a split step. So many players out there do not utilize the split step. So just to go on a rant about the split step and how important it is, when we split our feet apart and do this little hop and put all the pressure on the balls of our feet and we have a wide base, we actually literally send signals to our brain of consistency and accuracy. So not only are we going to be able to better hit our sweet spot, but we're also going to be able to better react to where the ball is when we perform this split step. Now what you'll find with pros, they're not split stepping on every single shot that they hit up at the kitchen. They're only split stepping when they feel like they've either popped up the ball or their opponents are going to speed up the ball. That's when they're doing or performing this split step. And the reason for that is because they have to be able to react fast. Whereas when you're dinking, you don't necessarily have to have fast reactions. Instead, you're going to be wasting a ton of energy hopping every single time that your opponent hits the ball. So instead, it's when we feel uncomfortable, we're performing that split step when we're up on the kitchen. When we're back and we're moving forward, whether that's on the baseline or at midcourt, we are split stepping every single time that our opponents make contact with the ball. I want you to analyze your own game. Maybe go out and film yourself, or just the next time that you play, pay attention to that split step. It's going to make a huge difference in your overall reaction time. Most importantly, it's going to help you to be able to get to the ball way faster than you have been before. I know that you're probably not split stepping if you're below the 5-0 level, because of the vast majority of matches that I have seen, players continuously just run through the ball. So remember that the correct timing of the split step is when they hit, you split. Okay, when they hit, you split. It's a really easy thing to remember. So when I'm up here on the kitchen line and I pop up the ball, I'm going to take a big step back, split my feet apart, but this is the most pivotal thing. Even though I feel uncomfortable, since I've given myself space, I have to tilt forward. If I don't tilt forward and instead am on the heels of my feet, I'm going to pop that next shot up again and again and again. Whereas if I lean forward, it automatically puts my paddle face downward. If I lean back, my paddle face goes upward. If I lean forward, it goes downwards. The person who hits down first is most oftentimes going to be the player that comes out on top of the hands battle. So we have to lean forward. One of the best matches that I have seen on the Pro Tour lately is with a new kid named Will McCannon and his partner Luke Pham. They played against Gabe Tardio and Ben Johns, so the #1 seed. They had just previously played against Tyson McGuffin and Ryan Fu and absolutely destroyed them. So they got into this tournament unseeded, came in and they made it all the way to the quarterfinals. And they took out some really good teams along the way. But as they're playing against Ben and Gabe Tardio, it's as if they're playing against like just a pickup game. You can see that there's no pressure going on. And it's because both of these kids have such fast hands. And I say kids, I don't know how old Luke is, but I know that Will is he's a senior in high school. So he's pretty young. But the reason, as I'm analyzing this, that he has such fast hands is not only does he have a concise motion up here every single time, but he is always tilted forward on the balls of his feet every single time, as if his opponents aren't hitting 100-mile-an-hour balls at him. This is something, again, that has to be practiced. Otherwise, you're going to be jumping every single time that your opponents hit the ball. And when we jump, we go back. And with that backwards motion, we pop up the ball. So if you can tilt forward, get on the balls of your feet when you're feeling that pressure, and just stay grounded, shifting side to side, whatever it might be, but not jumping backwards, you're gonna have such great success when your opponents speed up the ball to where they won't even speed up the ball to you anymore. So when you feel uncomfortable, you're taking that step back. We're not getting stuck and we split, but we're leaning, we're tilting forward. When we're comfortable, we split back in. We're again leaning, we're tilting forward, we're hovering over the kitchen, ready to attack. Be the player that when you're confident, you're leaning over the kitchen. When you feel uncomfortable and you know that your opponents are gonna speed up the ball, whether that's because they do a big, huge windup or just simply you pop up the ball, don't be afraid to take that step back. Take that step back, it's gonna give you more time to react. This will build your confidence so that you can then attack that next shot, get it low, move forward, and continue to attack, leaving everything out in front of you. Number 4, run plays so that you're always 2 steps ahead of your opponents. Whenever we have a specific play in mind that we are running, our opponents are gonna feel like we're reading their minds over and over again. It's an absolutely beautiful thing that you can implement. But a lot of players out there don't know the specific plays of pickleball, and in fact, it's really only the top elite players that know them. And so because of this, as you can see behind me, I have this board. We got the bad guys in red, the good guys, you, in blue, and I've written up over 40 plays that you can use out on the court with specific actionable steps that you can utilize so that you're always 2 steps ahead of your opponents. These are serve plays, return plays, drive, drop, anything, you name it, transition, whatever it might be. I have written this up. It's in a specific course. You can go to the link at the bottom of your screen. The best part about it, it's absolutely free. My entire goal is to help each of you improve your pickleball game. One of the best ways to do that is to be 2 steps ahead of your opponents. Now with that, I want to show you guys a specific play that I like to use all the time on my board here. If you are the serving team, you serve that initial shot to the bad guys, they return it, and they're running forward here. We want to drive this shot whenever we're off balance, whenever the ball comes in deep. If we can drive that shot, it's going to set us up for an easier 5th shot. So this is the drive drop play. And with that easier 5th shot, we now can drop the ball cross court because it's going to give us more time to move up. We want to make it all the way up to the kitchen line is because the further back we are, the more court that our opponents have to hit to, okay, with their balls. Whereas the closer we get, they only have the kitchen to hit to unless they want to hit it directly to us or try to hit it in these openings, right? And so we can apply way more pressure on our opponents by getting closer to the net. So that's one of my favorite plays. Again, there's over 40 plays in this series. You're gonna absolutely love it. And I'm gonna be adding different strategies, tactics, pickleball techniques, everything like that in this course. Again, it is all free. Go to the link at the bottom of your screen, or you can scan this QR code if that's easier for you. Number 5, figure out what your opponents target on you and what you like to avoid. For a lot of players, that's gonna be their backhand. First, figure that out and then fix it. A lot of players will always just be like, you know what, I just like my forehand. It is what it is. I'm just gonna run around my backhand every single time. But what this causes is as you get to higher levels, and players realize this, that huge weakness is gonna keep you at your current level forever, indefinitely. You cannot get past that level until you stop avoiding the thing that's keeping you there. For me, when I was first getting into pickleball, I wanted to learn the backhand roll. And I would try it all the time in matches, again and again, and every single time it would pop up to my opponent's strike zone and they'd put it back down at my feet. And I got so frustrated, like, I'm watching Ben Johns do this all the time, where he's literally just hitting winners off of his backhand roll. Why can't I do it? I do it on the forehand side and it was like a walk in the park. I could do it every single time without a doubt. But on the backhand side, it was so sus. It was just horrible. And so I took that and I said, you know what? I need to learn this shot and get it just as good as my forehand. Is it as good as my forehand? No. My forehand's always gonna be better, just because that side's more comfortable for me. But it's pretty dang close because I went out and I hit 1,000, 10,000, and I just kept going, hitting over and over and over again, getting these reps in with cooperative drills like how I talked about before. And then I started doing competitive drills. I started putting myself in situations where we were keeping score and I was trying to do this shot and I was noticing, oh, I'm hitting winners down the line now. I'm hitting winners across the body of my opponent. They don't know where this ball is going. It's sped up a ton. It has way more spin. It's way more powerful. It's looking so much better. And as time has gone on, it's become one of the strongest parts of my game to have that backhand flick or roll that I can put either down the line, across my opponent's body, or I can do a nice little corner pocket to the kitchen. And it all came down to getting out into drilling and noticing that I had that weakness. So I wanted to take an assessment of your game, figure out what that weakness might be for you, and then start practicing it. Don't neglect it. A lot of players that I work with one-on-one will struggle with something, and I'll show them what drills to do, and I'll tell them to go out and drill those specific things. And then I'll say, video your drills, because I want to see these drilling sessions, right? Or I want to see your rec matches. And what I find is I give them the specific drills and say, if they're struggling with their forehand dink, whatever it might be, I say, go out there and hit, 1,000 forehand dinks in this drilling session. And what ends up happening is they start favoring their backhand again. And they're hitting backhand dinks over here. And what they don't realize is obviously that's counterproductive. You're getting out there to practice your weakness. And so regardless of if you hit 10 in the net in a row, you want to continue to get reps in as many as possible. So a lot of people neglect their weakness by using their strength all the time, and this causes them to just be stuck at their current level. So if you feel like you're stuck at your current level, chances are it's because you're avoiding a weakness and you need to just get in the necessary reps. And it's not going to be 100 reps. It's not going to be 300 reps. It's going to be closer to about 10,000 reps before that's going to feel really confident for you. And something that I absolutely love is that amateurs will practice until they get it right. They're like, oh, that feels good. Okay, sweet. Let's go play some rec. Whereas pros will practice until they can't get it wrong. Once it starts feeling good, they're like, all right, time to hit 1,000 more. And then they'll go out the next day and hit another 1,000. And they'll go out the next day and hit another 1,000. Okay, they've amplified the amount of output that they're putting on that specific side, and they're not neglecting that weakness. So stop neglecting your weakness, stop avoiding it, get out there and start training it with pickleballdrillsapp.com, and I promise that you will take your game to the next level faster than you ever thought possible. Whether you're plateauing right now or you're just slowly moving, it is going to accelerate that so much just at the fact that you're prioritizing your weaknesses and focusing on them so that they no longer hold you back, you no longer have to avoid them, and they're no longer being targeted, especially at those higher levels. If you enjoyed that video, you're gonna absolutely love this video right here. If you have felt stuck at your current level, this video is going to take you from that stuck position and show you the 4 things that are keeping you there and how you can ultimately overcome them. So check that out right there, and I will see you over there. Peace.